What's up, everybody? I'm Scott. Welcome to the first episode of my channel, where I'm going to talk horror movies, mainly most things on Shudder, probably, because there's just a plethora. But I am a huge horror fan. My friends, my family, not so much, so I don't really have people to talk to about it. Kind of just have to watch other channels and whatnot. So I figured, fuck it. I'll just speak it out into the ether in my shitty Honda with my shitty camera and my shitty mic, and maybe people will want to talk about it. Or they won't, and I'll have a very, very long video journal of talking about good and bad horror movies, for whatever that's worth. So, today, we're going to talk about Dark Match, which I watched last night. And the way I'm going to do this channel is I'm going to kind of give who I think the movie's for, who I think is going to actually get enjoyment, who it's not for, who can skip it, and where I kind of fell on it. I'm a pretty positive person. It's pretty hard for me to just give staunch negative reviews. I can usually find something enduring in most films. But Dark Match was one I'd never heard of, and I am recently into wrestling, and over, I guess, the last 2 years. So this is a movie about a group of wrestlers who, on local small indie circuits in the 80s, and they get a call to some random town to go, hey, we want you to wrestle in this match. We want to set this up. We're going to pay you handsomely to come over here. And then shit starts spiraling pretty fast. So I was pretty interested in the concept with the wrestling. And I will say, this movie is for people who want a silly goose time. This movie is, I'm not going to say ridiculous. It is just something like I was feeding my twins last night. I just needed something on. I was watching it. I didn't need to be invested. It's just a good movie to throw on if you want to get a couple buddies and have a fun time. If you just need something to unwind after a long day, kind of shut your brain off for a little bit. That is what this movie is for. I do not think you have to be a wrestling fan to like this movie. I think it just enhances it. So it's by no means something that's a requirement that you have to like it. I think if you are, it's just a little more fun. There's a little more nuance and lingo and shit that you'll kind of catch. But it really is for someone that just wants some simple fun. It's not some elevated horror, some deep thought. I kind of figured out what was happening pretty quickly, had all the guesses, but that didn't take away from it. So if you're looking for something to throw on after work, you've got a couple buddies over, you just want to have a couple drinks, watch something, you're not going to be scared. Nothing's going to scare you, but you'll have moments where you can laugh. You have moments where you go, oh, fuck, that was gnarly. So you get a little bit of all of it. If you're looking for deep plots, avoid this. If you're looking for some throwaway fun to put on, have a good time, I would recommend it. And where I fell on that was exactly that. I was feeding my twins, had my daughter, trying to put her to sleep, doing all this. So I'm watching, I've had a long day at work, not trying to focus in on something. I put this movie on, and I got exactly what I would want out of that. You get practical effects and I'm sure there was some CGI in there, but the effects in this movie I thought held up, because I was thinking, I don't know, Shudder exclusive, there's no telling how much money they have. It's got Chris Jericho in it, so there's no telling. Maybe they used all their money for him, I don't know. And it had moments that were pretty bloody, pretty gory. Nothing that's gonna go hostile or Saw or anything, but just very solid effects that really looked good. It didn't look shitty or cheesy. There were parts that, but you get what you get. It didn't have that crazy of it's a pretty straightforward premise. It's kind of kicks you out the gate on what's gonna happen. Nothing kind of darted out and got me, twisted me, anything like that. But it was still a fun ride. You have really cool lighting elements, in my opinion, that made me think of things like Last Night in Soho, Mandy to an extent. And there was a movie I watched one time, I cannot think of the name of it. If you know it, put it in the comments. But it was this like punk rock band that ended up in a Nazi area. Just the way it's lit with different colors, different lighting, different effects. It's very mesmerizing. There's a way that they go from 80s wrestling filming of a television to live, back to that, and the grain and the grit of it really just adds to all of it. And it's so visually it had a lot going for it that kind of keeps you hooked in It doesn't look cheap. Well, it didn't look like a cheap throwaway. They actually put time, it seemed, into the visuals of it. And yeah, the acting was better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't know what to expect. I thought the actors were fine. You actually had some characters that you actually started to, at least I did, started to gravitate towards, of wanting to figure this out, wanting to get through this, wanting to be the good guy, whether they were flamboyant and brash, whether they were jerks in the beginning, whether they were faces, whether they were heels, whether they were luchador wrestlers. You had all different kinds of mixes that you found yourself rooting for all different kinds of people. And I will say, I will not spoil the end of this movie whatsoever, but I was with my brother-in-law watching this, and the ending's coming. And so there's this whole build-up to the end. And at the end, they're doing typical go away. And there's something, when you see the movie, you'll think, there's no way this is about to happen. There's no way this is about to happen. And I was so... I about woke my baby up. I'm holding her. I'm like, dude, there's no way this is about to happen. This is going to be insane. They could have easily ended the movie and rode off into the sunset, but they had to drop a fucking banger at the end. And I wish I could spoil it right now, but I can't. And it is so... The way I was talking about everything being practical and really grounded, and that's my alarm for work. That's not good. The way everything's practical and grounded and everything like that, the ending just dices that. They could have ended it and it would have been a very strong film. But the last 20 seconds, I was telling my brother-in-law, I said, dude, if they do this, if they do what I think they're about to do, this is a fucking 10 out of 10 banger. It is my shit. Because there's something about it where I was all fucking in on what they were about to do. I didn't care how bad it seemed, how ridiculous it looked. I was involved. And sure as shit, where you think the camera's gonna cut off and just leave you a mystery, they fucking double down, dude. And they show you what's up. And I cannot spoil it. But if you go in with a fun time, with a chill, just laid back night to watch a movie, you're not super invested in all of it, you just are along for wherever this journey is going to take you, and you go into the ending with that, I think you'll respect the ending like I did. I was fucking cheesing because I could not, I was the balls to do this, and the balls to make it an ending that seems like they threw it together in 20 seconds. But they fucking did it, dude. The goddamn nuts. I was so psyched. I was expecting a typical horror movie cutoff. As this channel goes on, you'll learn that I love schlock and ridiculousness, and anything that's a curveball or out of left field, it just fires me up. And they ended this one. I wish I could. I should have done a damn spoiler on this, because I would love. I could break down the way there's people that do analysis of like The Shining for 2 hours. I could do that with bad movies. Not bad movies, but like sections of... I could talk for 30 minutes about what made the last 20 seconds of this movie fucking golden. I would break down frame by frame. Want a silly goose time, put this movie on. You'll have a good time with it. Don't go in inflated. Don't go in elevated. Don't go in thinking nothing crazy. Just have a couple drinks, chill, throw it on. If you like wrestling, I think you'll get more kick out of it. If you don't, I think you could still have a good time. And I truthfully think, watching the trailer, reading the premise, hearing this, you'll know if this movie's for you or not. You get what you get. So that's kind of the first video. That's the channel. Yeah, not very good production. Got my shitty camera with a mic, and I'm sitting in the parking lot of my gym. Just talking about this. Probably need to get to work, honestly. But that's this. That's this channel. I plan to talk about more of this. So if there's more Shudder movies or whatever that y'all want me to watch, put them down below. I don't know. I don't know if one person will see this. I don't know if 1,000 people. I don't know. Just want to talk horror. See what happens. So, guys, let me know what you thought about this movie. If you plan on watching it. If you liked the ending, dude. Because there's going to be some of you that are just fired the fuck up when this ending happens. It made me feel like I wanted to be around my friends when we were in high school just watching ridiculous horror movies, because we would have all been cheering and clapping and jumping and fucking amped for this ending, just dying laughing. And it felt like it was just that emotion again. So go check it out. Let me know what you think. You guys are the best, if anyone's watching this. Peace.